It happens.
So with this one, will lead us to our next match here on the card, which is the career-ending match between the Ultimate Warrior
Ooh.
versus the Macho Man Randy Savage with Sherry in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
This match goes 20 minutes and 47 seconds.
Right.
And Maria, you are a fan of the Ultimate Warrior. And you are also a fan of the Macho Man.
Also a fan of
So
tassels.
King.
Macho
Oh,
King.
the Macho King. Excuse me, Doyle.
So I was going to ask you guys. I mean, is this legit a retirement match because Savage lost and he was forced to retire? Or is this just a gimmick for this match?
Well, before we answer that,
Okay. Is it?
you let me know who were you rooting for?
Who was I rooting for?
Yeah.
I mean, I was rooting for Macho Man.
I mean, don't question it. You know your feelings. Were you rooting for the Macho Man? Were you hoping that the Macho Man still earned a paycheck from Titan Sports Worldwide?
I mean, okay, let me tell you. So, first of all, I see Elizabeth just sitting in the audience, all sad. Looking super cute with her sweater and her stars.
They made her look like a regular person in the audience, didn't they?
No offense, but Queen Sherry is no Elizabeth.
How dare you?
I don't know how you guys feel. Like I said, Macho Man's outfit is stunning, and this is hard because I am a fan of both, as you know. I'm looking at the Ultimate Warrior in his Technicolor Dreamcoat, but I'm really rooting for Macho. So
okay,
yeah.
So we get it here.
I also can't believe that Sherry got knocked out. I mean, were you guys surprised? Because I feel like I haven't really seen anything like that in like recent wrestling.
About someone getting knocked out?
Well, Sherry getting knocked out. What did you think?
Well, Sherry was never afraid to take a bump.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Right.
We kind of don't really do that much anymore. Male on female violence is kind of frowned upon. But Sherry was never afraid to mix it up.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's what I was referring to in the last one, where I'm like, the valets have pretty much changed, which is funny because the valets now, some of them, if they want to continue like in the sports entertainment world, are told that they have to try to make money by actually getting in the ring and learning how to wrestle.
Wow.
But back in those days, you didn't have to do that. If you were a valet, yeah, you were like maybe taking a bump here and there or getting involved in a match,
right?
But you weren't forced, and I feel like that's something that maybe they could still work on trying to bring back, where you have the valets. Like you have Karrion Kross right now that has Scarlett, and she hardly like takes any bumps. She does, she's primarily a valet, but they try to get her to wrestle, and that was very unsuccessful.
Well, I mean, even look at Rhea Ripley, right? I mean, you got her putting KO through the barricade.
Recently,
nobody ever touched, or men anyway, ever touch her. So yeah, we don't really do the male on female violence anymore, which is probably for the better.
For the best.
But it's funny you mentioned Elizabeth, because in this day and age, if they played it like that and you saw Elizabeth, obviously she's going to get in the ring, But back in 1991, oh my God, what's she doing here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
why didn't they give her one of those 2 empty seats in the front row that have been empty this whole time? Like I feel like the WWF would never allow that in this day and age.
Right.
2 empty seats. We'll of course find out who's going to be there later.
Yeah, I mean the hijinks in this match is so good. I would definitely recommend watching this one because it was just so crazy.
This is also one of my favorite matches. So this is like my 3rd favorite match here, just because of the way this match unfolds, and unfortunately, Macho Man does lose here.
Okay,
but it's just funny when you contrast this match and compare it to the match that Hogan had with the Warrior at WrestleMania 6. They both go for 20 minutes, but this is more of the more compelling match. Here, even though the Warrior's still kind of like crazy and going, and being kind of a little bit of rough in the ring with the Macho Man.
Right.
Macho Man is still able to work with him.
Right.
And it doesn't look as disjointed as when Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior are going in their match at WrestleMania 6.
That's right.
Well, it just goes to the stewardship of Savage.
Oh, yeah.
He notoriously laid out his matches like move for move for move for move to the annoyance of some people. WrestleMania 3 match with Ricky the Dragon is often considered one of the best matches of all time. And Steamboat was not happy to lay it out beat for beat for beat for beat for beat. He didn't like to work like that, but that's how Savage operated. Wow. And to the credit of this is one of my favorite matches of all time.
Oh wow!
So it's clearly my favorite match of the show, but this is one of my probably top 10 favorite matches of all time.
The Warrior versus Macho Man? Or are you talking about the
Warrior Macho Man
spear
match at WrestleMania 7? Yes. I liked somebody mentioned the entrance, which is great. Anytime you get a bunch of jabronis involved in an entrance, usually one or two of them turns out to be somebody that later became, but I don't think that's the case here.
No, I was trying to pin that see if I recognized anybody.
You'll get to one of Cena's entrances is 100 John Cena's running out, and one of them is CM Punk. I think Becky Lynch was Becky and Charlotte were what the hell?
Weren't they on Adam Cole
Adam
Rose?
Yes, thank you. They were.
It was funny because my wife had pointed out that someone reminded her of Adam Rose, and she didn't.
Back then.
No, this was like
Tonk Man.
Yeah, when he came out with Sherry, who at the time was going, but she wasn't Sherry. She was Peggy Sue, and when he had his little entourage, and she's like, the entourage reminds me of that one wrestler, and I was like, Adam Rose, and she's like, no, that's not his name. And I had to look it up. I'm like, yes, it was his name.
I am a fan of Adam Rose and his entourage. I think it's pretty cool. So
my wife was a Rosebud.
Is that what they're called?
What's that?
Is that what they're called? A Rosebud?
Yeah, that's what they were called. Yeah. Rosebud. You ever see Dalton Castle? He wrestles for AEW sometimes.
I don't think she's seen Dalton Castle.
I think you would like Dalton Castle.
Yeah, I was disappointed when he came out for the over the budget battle royal. That didn't have like that male entourage that normally, his boys that normally form like his chair,
right?
And he sits on them. And they didn't have it. They only had like 2.
I guess I'm here for a spectacle because you're talking about 100 John Cenas. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
wow.
Somewhere in the 20s, you will.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was pretty cool that the tables turn and Sherry goes in on Macho. I was like, what?
Yeah. After the Macho Man takes out Elizabeth as part of his valet services after WrestleMania 5.
Right.
And takes on Sherry. The partnership comes to an end, unfortunately. Because Sherry's like, what am I going to do for a job now?
Oh.
Yes.
You get fired. Who am I going to be a valet? Am I still a queen? So she has to go off on Macho for not only losing the match, but possibly costing her job.
That's right, because Miss Elizabeth goes into the ring and she tosses Sherry off of him.
Yeah, she's not going to let anything happen to her man. She loves the Macho Man, and she saves him. And even though Macho's pushing her away, they eventually leave.
The crowd went wild when Macho and... Yeah, they loved it. So people were in the audience crying. Did you see
that you were crying? No, I didn't see that you were crying.
I love how apoplectic Bobby the Brain is during this. He's like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Why is Elizabeth coming down here? She doesn't work here.
Oh,
yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Why is she getting involved?
He also goes, I'd rather have money than a skirt.
Oh, that's later on. Yeah.
But this is pretty serious because people were in the audience crying. So I mean, I was like, people are like seriously crying. This is super emotional.
Yeah, like the writers were doing a great job in making this work.
What?
And making the audience buy it and react to it.
Yes. I was like, wow, it
And
feels like we're watching.
As little me, I was very happy to see them reconcile, but I was also like, there's no more Macho Man. What am I going to do?
That's super cute.
By the way, Macho King.
Oh, sorry, sir. Macho King.
Is that his new moniker or
for this time?
Well, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
I can't say it like that.
I met. He's the only person I met at a actual signing or whatever.
Is that your second person?
Yeah, Macho King, second person, and it was during this heel run. It was Macho King.
Okay.
So I stood in line for what seemed like months at the mall to meet Macho King. I think I don't know. I think he was Macho King for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So it must have been between WrestleMania 5 and WrestleMania 7. And I guess I was 10. And so I had this autographed picture of Macho King. And then, a couple years later when junior high started and wrestling wasn't cool to like, that was trash. So I don't have it anymore.
No.
Tragedy. Oh, shoot.
But yeah, he was cool. I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with him. I spent more time with Macaulay Culkin. I spent even more time with the third person, but we'll get to him later.
Wow.
Also, it's a him.
Yeah. Warriors goofy fucking warrior bullshit is the only thing that keeps this from being a 5-star match, in my opinion. And with like, oh god, it's insufferable. At least we didn't have to listen to him go on some ridiculous diatribe before the match.
He got no promo time.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
And him with but yeah, this is, like I said, one of my favorite matches of all time.
That's cool.
So you asked if Macho really had to retire or not.
Yeah.
Would you like that answered?
Yes, I really do.
Okay. Well, he's going to be back by Survivor Series.
Okay.
And Warrior's going to get fired after SummerSlam. So this whole thing is for nothing, basically.
That's so crazy.
And that's one of the things that we were referencing, that the wrestling rules sometimes are not very black and white.
Right. He stays around as a commentator for a while. And then they run this whole at SummerSlam this year. They do the match made in heaven and the match made in hell, which was Slaughter and his Stooges versus Hogan and the Warrior. Hogan gets fired. Warrior gets fired after that match. But the match made in heaven is Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth getting married. And so after that, they go in the back, and the Undertaker and Jake are waiting for him at the reception, and a snake pops out of the wedding gift, which leads to this feud between Jake Roberts and Macho Man, where he ties Macho up on the ropes and he has a snake really biting on his arm. Like, it was pretty graphic for the time. It's probably still graphic for now, actually. But he eventually gets himself reinstated. Yeah, so but by the end of the year, Macho Man's back. You'll see him at WrestleMania 8.
Spoiler alert.
Warrior's out of there for a couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
So I won't tell you if he comes back or not.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of curious. I was like, let me add this because I was wondering. I'm like, I feel like he comes back after this and it's not like a final retirement. Also, I can deal with the loose ends as far as the storyline is concerned because I'm a fan of a multiverse. So, I mean, I can roll with it.
Wrestling is certainly that, I think.
Yeah. It's always
Sherry's shoes must have weighed 100 pounds. I don't know how she walked around with them. One hit, he took out more guys with that shoe shot.
Yeah.
Just
maybe
like
it's the heel.
My theory that foreign objects were much more tough back in the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah,
this is the 90s, right? The 80s still have it. 80s don't really end till
I mean, those she probably bought them in the 80s.
Yes, right. Okay, so grandfathered it.
Yeah.
So does that